Ethos of Silence.
A veteran podcast aims to amplify the voices of veterans, creating a safe space for authentic conversations about their experiences, challenges, and triumphs. We seek to break the stigma surrounding mental health and foster community support, resilience, and understanding. Through storytelling, expert insights, and candid discussions, we strive to inspire healing, promote awareness, and empower veterans on their journeys.
Welcome.
Be open about things.
I hear you. Ethos of Silence, and we're back. I'm with my road dog KG tonight. So you had a pretty rough day, huh, buddy?
Man, I really did. This tone I have in my voice now really doesn't indicate a lot about where it started off at. And to give a kind of a in-depth look at it, so the audience can understand it, I guess over the last week, it's been mainly in my sleep. I can't think of anything of note during the day that it's been of any real anxiety other than the norm stuff. You know, the house is a mess, or I need to clean up a little project or something like that. But it goes back into my sleep. I've had these very vivid dreams about kind of I don't know. I was in a room with what looked like to be a bunch of Satanists, and my wife was in there. I don't know. I think it was more the feeling of helplessness in there, and being outnumbered, and I don't know. That's just the way one of the dreams that was going on the last week.
Yeah, you fear the people that are surrounding you in this dream. Thus, you're subconsciously telling yourself that you fear some type of commitment, some type of thing that's going on in your life.
Something's happening. Yeah.
That your body is picking up on, and your mind, if it was as sharp as what it once was, would be picking up on. But for some reason, something's clouding your judgment on some new people you brought into your life. Because if it was current people you had in your life, it wouldn't. I'd assume you wouldn't be having such vivid things.
I would say that's a very good look at that. Yeah.
Not to get into it personally, but I mean, like, stop and think. What new things have been going on in your life since that has happened, and or what other, I mean, let's just call them nightmares, have you been having other than that?
Well, socially, there's really been, I would say it's been well. I mean, socially, I'm around a lot of the same people. I know there's been a little bit of anxiety with my parents getting some of their medical issues not taken care of. That's been a big stressor on me. But you know, I'm spiritual, you know, and I have my eye and my ear looking at the world and how it changes a lot, and I have ever growing concerns about our Western civilization here. And listen, I'm just going to be honest. I'm a red, white, and blue through and through. I grew up in America where, you know, it was country, and you know, you got a butt whooping, and if somebody didn't, well, bless your heart. Or I was in the back of a truck, you know, hanging on for my life, or going through mud holes, you know, and bless the people who never did that before. But it was love. It wasn't anywhere near the amount of dynamic bull junk that happens on the simplest dumb levels. Like, I don't want to get too far into it, but I thought we were just all one race. I thought it was a human race.
I hear you.
You know, some of that stuff bothers me, but no, my wife tells me the other night, listen to this. She says, it was the night or night before last, she says that I reached over and she was turned, you know, her back's turned to me. And then if you're in a relationship, then this is how it goes. If you turn your back to the other partner, that means you trust them and you love them. So anyways, her back's generally to me. She said, I reached over and took the back of her arms with my hands, and not hard, but just grabbed them, just held her arms for a second, and then eased my knee up to her back and just held it there for a second. And like it was it was kind of getting a little bit uncomfortable. She was like, well, what are you doing? And I said, and I kind of remember in the bed, and I was like, I'm not really sure. So, but I don't know, what you said earlier was right, but today, the way my tone of my voice is now doesn't explain the way I wake up in the mornings. My head is so hard to get screwed on, to get started. Coffee's good, and I get that going, but it's just like I reach very far and hard to God's word to get me going, and it's still seeming like, I don't know, today was just depressing. I finally had someone coming out to spray the shop, the foam. That means the spray foam. So it wouldn't be hot out there. I could put air conditioning in there. I can have a place outside of this house that I've always desired for years to have. And I was so excited. I thought it was set up. They called me early this morning. I'm coming. I'm coming a little early. Well, 1 hour goes by. 2 hours go by. I call back to the place. I'm like, hey, when are these people supposed to show up? And the response was, I don't know. I think I pissed them off this morning, he says. I think they went to the other job. So I'm like, okay. Well, what are you thinking? Maybe the next few hours. So the next few hours turned into the next few hours. And I called back, and then I called back. So I literally waited all day, and I kept depressing myself like, is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? And mind you, I've been waiting years for this to happen.
Yeah, no.
And this really, really, really important to me.
So let me...
and I just feel disappointed and depressed.
Yeah, let me bestow some knowledge on you, man. You're somebody who talks a lot, right? So let me just put this knowledge out there. 4 times to be silent. When you're angry, silence prevents regret. Prevents saying something you're going to regret. Mm-hmm. When others are talking, listening gives you power. Mm-hmm. When you don't have all the facts, quiet avoids mistakes. Mm-hmm. When your actions can speak louder than your words ever can, the results are louder than the words.
Mm. Yeah.
Just steady where you're at. Knowing, as soon as I saw that quote and broken down like that, you were the first person I thought of, with the fact of how talkative you are and how it's sometimes extremely hard to get in, a word or my opinion or something along those lines, because whenever you're passionate about something, you'll go on and on about it, and you'll talk about it, and you're passionate about it, and you want to let everybody know. You want to preach, you want to spread the word, which is great. Wouldn't change it for anything at all. They need people like that in this world, and you're one of them. The knowledge of knowing when to throttle back, you're really good at, because I've seen you in multiple situations be able to read the room, read different people, pull those people aside, talk to them, and help them along their wayward paths. Like I've seen it way too many times to know that you're just gifted with this ability.
That I'm detrimental to myself. When I think about that quote, I think about today, I should have probably diverted a lot of my energy just to go do something else. Yeah, just to keep my mind busy.
Because either they're going to show up or they're not, and that's out of your control. So attempting to do any of that really doesn't change it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in hindsight, and with that encouraging quote, I look back at the day now and think, through that little bit of torment I had, the wisdom in it is just go off to the side. Do that little side something you were going to do. Don't hyper focus on, no matter what that is. There's nothing more important than keeping my mental status nice and healthy and fuzzy.
Fuzzy.
You know, fuzzy wuzzy. Yeah, I could have pulled off and just cleaned up something else and made sure the shop was clean or something positive. But I did. I not that I'm looking back on it and staying on it, but I recognize it. I hyper focused on that way too much throughout the entire day. So, a person like me, where our minds just don't maybe be in a position of being hyper focused on anything. We've got a history of things rattling around up in our heads.
Yeah, we do.
Experiences.
You know what? But and sometimes it can be a mistake. A mistake repeated more than once is a decision. A mistake repeated more than twice is a habit. A mistake repeated more than 3 times is character. Mistakes happen. We're all human. A mistake constantly repeating itself isn't a mistake anymore. It's a part of who you really are.
Yeah.
And it's important to realize that in people. You know, like I mistakenly scheduled, 2 people at the same time and they went to the other job, But if that is the constant excuse they give you every time you talk, it's like communicating with these people is just going to cause more anger. It's just going to make you think that they're just as evil as the medical company that doesn't want to cover this procedure or that procedure, which is ridiculous.
Right.
I'm dealing with it too. I've got plenty of insurance, plenty of other different things, plenty of different ways to skin the cat, to get the job done, plenty of different ways to pay. And all of a sudden, like you don't want to take this insurance, that insurance, or that insurance. Why do I have 3 different medical insurances that you could possibly take and you're not going to take any of them? It's
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. No, there's not anything in.
But you want to know the beautiful.
It makes sense.
You want to know the beautiful thing about mistakes? It's okay. It's okay to let people see you make mistakes. Just don't ever let them see you quit.
That's very well said. I'll not go to sleep thinking about that tonight for sure. Yeah, for sure. No, been through too much. There's not an amount of anything that would amount in this world that I can equivalate to a quitting point. Like quit. And it's just, I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be hard. I was going to continue down that route, but I still remember what my Savior says, and he says, persevere to the end.
Yeah.
Just until it's done. And I would not, especially in these days, would not want anything in this world to compromise anything in the way of being aligned with our Creator. So, for some people, that may be a Creator, a higher power in their point, but to me, it's the living Lord, God and the Savior, and He went through far more than I went through.
Yes.
Innocent, and He was crushed for me to have my freedom. He was crushed for this entire nation to have its freedom. So, yeah, man. Don't quit. I'm okay showing any of my weaknesses. I'm constantly weakness. But, just to have a wonderful son and a wonderful wife, somebody that's in my life that friends, it just reminds me every day there's power in that goodness and that love. Truly have the capacity to love and be loved back.
Yeah.
Man, that's rich. I am so rich.
But, next time you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, or defeated as a parent, remember that parenting is only hard for the people who are fully engaged, over-invested, and deeply loving. It's easy for the people who aren't. It's easy for the people who don't care, right? Just like we can go back to, is it easier to be a good man or, an evil man? It's a lot easier to be an evil man and just go through life and care about yourself than it is to go through life knowing that there's moral ramifications for every judgment you make and making the correct moral choice over and over again. You know?
Yeah, and that's saying that's saying it's much easier to be a selfish person than it is to be a selfless person.
Yeah, I mean that's basically the same thing. Basically, what it comes down to. But I mean, even in the
sacrifice,
the overall concept of it.
Sacrifice for our families, sacrifice for our nation. Sacrifice has to be put out there. There have to be men that can stand 10 toes ready in what they believe. And today, in today's society, that's another topic, but that's very much questionable on you know, how the standards and the morals of our United States are being tested right now.
Well, a lot of what's being tested can all come down to, you know, if you're focused to achieve something or not, because a focused fool can achieve more than a distracted genius. And if you pay attention to everything going on, there's so many different things that are going on to distract you from making sense of everything that you clearly see. And if you are focusing on an individual thing, you can complete that task. But if you're trying to look at the large picture, you're going to get distracted with all the other little BS things that are out there.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. It may be something in the future that I can get back involved with. It's not now. I've spent, you know, you and me both have spent many years sacrificing time with our family to commit to a greater good for organizations. And I'm gonna be wrong. That's what we do. But this moment, I'm kind of glad I'm away from it. I'm focused on the home front and putting them in place. But maybe in the future, I think that this should be maybe in the future for every American, especially the man in the nuclear family, the head of household thing, to be involved with our country and what's going on. Because if we don't, if the ones who love our country, the ones who love our families, that truly know what love, they're not, vexed by some kind of curse of or religion that really doesn't exemplify that. If we don't, someone else will. Those will come in and do it, and that's on our doorstep. But again, that's a whole other podcast. I'm sure I have permission to talk about that yet.
No, I'm sure we'll stumble into that eventually.
Yep.
We sure will.
Yep. Yeah, because that's a great big concern of mine for this nation.
I mean, I hear you. One of my big concerns with the nation is people understanding what true loyalty is. Because I know that I can teach my kids because they're underneath my roof. I know that I can inspire their friends because they come visit, see me, see a Marine Corps flag outside, have a conversation with me, and maybe it's the one conversation that sparks them into being one way or another. Right. But I know after having them all over here and playing games together and having game nights and hanging out and chilling with them, that it doesn't matter if I am cooking steaks, making hamburgers, or we're eating beanie weenies that we made in the microwave. They all have the same smile on their face and they're all happy to be here. So loyalty comes down to don't eat with people you wouldn't starve with. The people you surround yourself with, make sure and we have both surrounded ourselves with people at times that have hoodwinked us and they've had us feeling that way, and we're loyal people, but they are not. So, and it's got to be a two-way street. It's got to be. Because if disloyalty was forgivable, then the devil would be sitting next to God.
Very, very well said, indeed. And he has no way back.
No way back.
No.
And I know it's a huge stretch to compare that to somebody's disloyalty, but that is truly the way I feel.
No, it should be. I mean, there's a many of wise words that escape me at the moment that parallel and add to exactly what you're saying about disconnecting from those who would not have that same moral ground that we wouldn't move off of for any reason.
Yeah.
But they would be quick to do that. I think Jesus said it quick to his disciples about if you're in a town and they do not accept you, basically say if you're talking with people and you're making friends or whatever and they're just not welcome to you and giving you the same you give them, then you dust your feet off and leave. And I think for years that had been in and out of my thoughts.
Yeah.
And the thing that was a revelation to me came from another minister I listened to. He broke it down and said that he was telling them to dust to knock the dust off of their feet and move on to another town. He was telling them to knock the dirt off that's in their place and that is on them and that is now on you, and leave.
Yeah.
Just leave them. It's a clear command to not. Or there's another one. Do not be equally yoked.
Yes.
I mean, do not be unequally yoked. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not be unequally yoked.
I mean, it comes down to simply some people ride with you until the trail gets rough. The right people ride with you because it's you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
trail doesn't matter.
but the where it really describes me is no one knows that I broke down that night because I got up the next morning, took a shower, got dressed, and moved on with my life. Like, nobody knows the pain or that. Like, you can see the scars, and some scars you can't see, but nobody knows how I earned those scars, so they don't like understand, or they can't even comprehend where it comes from. And that's part of why being in this podcast and talking with buddies just feels so good to understand. I can't even talk in like the 70th dimension of personality here, you know. It doesn't matter because I'm still getting it off my chest and, you know, understanding that at the end of the day, I'm going to wake up, go to work, keep the earth moving, and keep all the people I love, you know, fed and have a roof over their heads.
For sure, man. It's very cool to be on a podcast, listening on a podcast, being in a room, being in a car with, just like you said, people around you, you know, have earned scars and they understand it. And it's just a really cool place to be when you're surrounded by some people like that. It's not all the time it's like that, but, you know, because our lives are always busy going in a different direction.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to come on a podcast and find people that are like it.
Yeah. And then one of the most redeeming things that can ever happen is the fact that, you know, so you're in this place where it's almost like somebody abandoned you in the middle of the ocean, right? And you've got the sharks circling and they're wondering how you managed to get back to shore when they see you, and it's as if you haven't missed a fucking step, no matter what they did, no matter what's going on, because the warriors we became, we can deal with anything, compartmentalize it, and just move on. And that kind of mentality makes you seem cold, makes you seem heartless to certain people, but makes other people look up to you and wish that they could carry on. And I understand that operating like a machine, you know, like our bodies don't hold up the way they once were. And
yeah. I ask this, those people that see that and look to people who have the scars and carry them, do their eyes ever fall down towards the knees of that person?
Well, yeah.
Because many a time in our lives, we've been pushed to that point and through that point because we were humble enough to take a knee.
Well,
at some point.
We're humble enough to take a knee and bow our head, and that's out of respect. And they're bowing their head in shame without ever taking a knee.
Yeah. For
and
sure.
there's two different things there, and you would think, just by the stature, that the man taking the knee would be the weaker one, but it's out of a sign of respect and lowering the head as if the king is passing,
for sure,
as opposed to the little half bow of I don't trust my enemy, where you're keeping your eyes on them when you bow your head, right? So it's two completely different,
two total different things, for sure.
Two total different vibes going on all at the same time.
Yep. We have a king. We humble ourselves before it.
Yeah.
You don't see how he pushes us through it. I've had lots of moments in my past that have been like that. I just come through a moment of that. It was that moment of there's no way that he could have made it out there without their clear sign of being that God had a hand on that.
Yeah.
Just no way. That's, some people pray for that to happen, but it comes in the worst of times. And for someone not to be able to give that be grateful and thankfulness for even for the worst things that have happened, I would never have seen that. What was shown was that it was way more than me that got me through that situation.
Yeah.
God made us into the warriors, yes, but he took his warrior he made and he put a fire and circled around that warrior of his.
I mean, this might be
there's no way he could have made it out without God. There's no question. How did he get from that?
I mean, this might be a toxic take, but the game of chess, it ends when the king falls. Not when a pawn takes your queen. Right? Like just because a single event happens, it doesn't mean the end of the world. It might be a chink in the armor that makes a stock price drop a little bit and a bunch of people sell right before it skyrockets to the moon. I mean, it could possibly be the one flaw that they catch in testing of a video game, and then they're able to fix the flaw before it's ever released, but the little bug goes out, and then the game comes out, and they make more money than they'd ever believe possible, right? Oh, did you hear? Have you been paying attention to the NBA at all with the game that's going on in the finals?
No, but I'll tell you, I used to follow. I'm not following it lately, but I'm a fan of sports.
So the Knicks are playing the Spurs in the finals, right? And Wemby is the little rookie sensation for the Spurs. He's like this 7-foot giant, right? And they were asking him about their team. It's the youngest team to ever make it to the NBA finals and all this other different stuff.
Okay.
And he said that I'm gonna botch this. I already know I am. But he said something about our inexperience is for a greater good because we don't know the limitations that other people have set on us, right? Because the experienced people know that, okay, well, this game's impossible to come back from. Or the experienced people know, okay, well, this happened, so this is impossible, right? The unexperienced man doesn't know of the impossible, thus it makes it possible.
Yeah.
I was like, that is crazy.
So that moment, that game was a revelation of two forces and something really unveiled to where the normal circumstances changes and the outcome changed.
Yeah, no, just the ability to step up in the moment is something that has always been extremely impressive, especially with like the NCAA tournament and basketball and all this other different stuff, because basketball it's got a really, really cool team dynamic to it because it's 5 guys versus 5 guys, but then it also has the solo athlete because somebody still has to make that shot. Like, it takes your team doing what they're supposed to do and working as a unit on defense to make sure nobody gets a clean shot. It takes your team getting the good ball movement and everything else going on to get your guy a good clean shot, But at the end of the day, it still comes down to him making that shot, with the pressure and the lights and everything else going on, you know, and it's extremely, extremely interesting that a rookie would say that when they ask him about his inexperience, and he's saying that, you know, that's kind of a key factor to probably why we're here, because I don't know that it's impossible to do what you're saying it's impossible. You're saying that I'm doing the impossible. I didn't think it was impossible. That's why I'm doing it. But if I was experienced and I thought the impossible was there, you know, it might be that brick wall that keeps me from going through it.
I'm having a real hard time understanding what you're saying about this, but if you get some tickets to that game and take me to the game, I probably could understand a little bit better about what you're saying in that moment.
See, now this goes back to those little 4 rules of being silent. You know, like you're speaking up at an inopportune time, buddy.
If there happened to be some tickets there, I might have got some dibs on them. So I just had to check. Little feeler out there.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to ever tell with you. You might have courtside tickets, CJ. There ain't no telling with you.
Definitely not me, dog. Not the one. Not the one. You got any final words of wisdom? We had half an hour.
Nope. Just remember, you are the salt. He made you different than anybody else. Be the salt. Make somebody's life better.
I hear you. And iron sharpens iron. We out.
We now have a moment of silent prayer for those still in the battle, for our departed comrades, for those missing in action, and for those held as prisoners of war.